Do you see yourself as more of a lifeboat or a lighthouse type of a leader? That's what we're going to be talking about today, understanding what the differences between the two are and when is it better to be one or the other. And maybe even just why are we sometimes one or the other? I'm Deb Blum, and this is the Inside Out Activism Show. Welcome. So, I have a tendency, if left unchecked, to be a little bit more of a lifeboat kind of a leader. Like I can, I'm a problem solver. I'm a fixer. I feel like I know the answer. I could just jump right in and like fix things. I can look at other people's lives and be like, oh, you might need to do this, or you might need to do that. Or people come to me often because I do have good solutions, right? Um, But I also know that it's not always the right solution for things, right? So if I'm in a crisis, or if we're in a crisis, I'm a good person to have there because I can sort of mobilize. I know I'm a project manager. I can figure out what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, how it needs to be done, how to be efficient. And I'm a good person for that. And if you have an emergency room doctor, you want them to be kind of lifeboatish, right? You want them to like come in and like fix the problem. You want them to be aware and know what they're doing and have confidence and totally take care of the situation, right? And so there are some real valuable places where we do want a lifeboat kind of an orientation. And I think that the key thing is that we have to just be watching out for our natural tendencies and what's really being called for in any given situation. In a crisis situation, the lifeboating can be helpful, but sometimes what we can do is also lifeboat too long. So like say you are in a crisis situation, let's just say your company is struggling in some ways right now. You might feel justified that you really need to be lifeboating. You need to be going in there. You need to be fixing problems. You need to be dragging people up out of the water into your boat, dragging them, driving them to the shore, basically, helping them to find their way to get to that place and get to a better place. And you have like urgency and you have the solutions and you feel like you're just like pushing hard. And there's a way that lifeboating is actually kind of hard work, right? We're like efforting and we're kind of running a little bit on adrenaline, crisis management, bringing people in. There's a way that we know where we think we know where people need to go. So we literally are like, we're going to drag you out of the water. We're going to put you into the boat. We're going to drive you over there because we know that that's where you need to be. And so is a definite orientation of an attachment to like, I have the answers. You need to follow me. Okay. Right now, that can be really, really helpful. So let's just not like minimize that as a valuable skill to have in the world. And it can feel really good to be the rescuer, to be the hero, to like have saved the day. And I think there are some people who that's really fulfilling for them. When we look at emergency room doctors or EMTs or firemen, or, there are a lot of people who fit the bill for that in a beautiful way. There are also a lot of coaches and leaders in organizations who work that way. And what I think though about coaches and CEOs and leaders of teams, and even leaders of families, I think that people can benefit from an exploration of whether if they're showing up as a lifeboat when they really want to be more of a lighthouse. One of the other things about a lifeboat in interpersonal relationships that happens is that we tend to be a little bit intrusive. I mean, I'll just own it for me. Like I tend to be the person who someone says something, I might give them unsolicited advice. I might offer them an idea or a solution without them even asking. I sort of put them in a place where they don't know and I do know. And that's kind of filling this need inside of me, that like this need to be relevant and valuable and helpful and necessary. And it really does fill that cup. And I can just swoop right in and be like, oh, like, I'm full of ideas. And I can completely orient around this lifeboat idea as if I believe they need to be helped and I am the helper. I am the solution. And that orientation has so many challenges to it. For one, it's kind of exhausting because, I'm just basically orienting around, in many ways, the other person defining their problem and then coming in with my solution. And I'm not really engaging in a really intimate way with them. I'm really engaging kind of like a parental way in some ways. And by the way, I say that with a caveat because I really believe parents are being invited to be lighthouses as well. And so, but an old school kind of idea that like the parent knows best, that's kind of the orientation we get. And so that is one reason why this model is sometimes it seems like it's really generous and loving and kind, but in some ways it's actually infantilizing people and not allowing people the space to find their own way. And so then we have the lighthouse. And the lighthouse stands strong and it's on the shore and it shows the way, but it comes from a center. It comes from a place of strength. It comes from the place of like just beingness, and it shines this light and it guides and it shows what's possible. Like it just like beckons. It's like, I'm here. This is who I am. This is me. And you can follow or not. It's like if a lifeboat is a little more intrusive, the lighthouse is more of an invitation, right? If the lifeboat is more like, I know the way, this is the way and it's kind of attached to this way, the lighthouse is much more just guiding and shining a light on what's possible. If the lifeboat is more rescuing and heroing, the lighthouse is more humble and just stands strong and shows this other way. The thing about the lighthouse is the lighthouse comes from a place of being. It comes from you standing in your power and you being you, and you knowing that you being you is enough. It doesn't mean that you don't ever have ideas. It doesn't mean that you're not showing the way. It doesn't mean that you're not helping and supporting, but you're coming from the place of your center. You're not guessing what another person needs. You're not imposing upon somebody else what they need. You're really offering invitations, and you're standing in this strength, this place of strength, and inviting people to find their inner strength. You're basically saying to other people, can you please be your own lighthouse? Let me show you what it's like to be a lighthouse, and then my invitation to you is to be a lighthouse, to be your lighthouse, right? So it's coming from this place of, like, if you look at hierarchy, sometimes we have like this hierarchical viewpoint that we look at things when we're in a lifeboat mode. We're saving other people. We are somehow like better than or above them. We are somehow the leader of them. And the lighthouse comes more from this place of like a growth hierarchy. So yes, I am here and I am maybe further along on a journey than you possibly. I might know a little bit more than you because I might be a leader in this organization and I've done more of it, but that doesn't make me better than you, and it doesn't make you any less likely to be able to stand in your own lighthouse. And so it's much more of this hopeful, sort of aspirational view for people, and it really holds space for them to step into their authentic truth and to stand in their power, because ultimately that's really what we want, is for everyone to be standing in their power, and that's what we can invite by being a lighthouse. And let me just tell you, a lighthouse will be less tired because it is exhausting to lifeboat, but it is actually empowering and invigorating to be our authentic selves, to stand in our power, to be in our truth, and to be the guide, and to be standing in a center with love and humility and truth, rather than kind of dragging people out. And, when you're in a lifeboat, one of the things that can happen to you is people are dragging you down, right? You're trying to pull somebody out and they're pulling you into the water. And it's so much more kind of dangerous and scary, but it can also fill a part of you. So my question that I leave you with at the end of this is just, what is it that it gives you to be a lifeboat? Are you trying to fill a need? And is there another, like, more aspirational need you can fill within yourself, of authenticity and of fulfilling your own needs, and of staying connected to yourself, and to choose a higher place for yourself? And again, that would be you then showing the way for others. So just ask yourself these questions. What do you tend toward? Who do you want to be? What's going to give you more energy and exhilaration, and what's going to drag you down? And how can you be the leader for other people in this time of need, when a lot of people are begging you to be a lifeboat, but what they really want is for you to be a lighthouse? Thanks so much.